last unit, Unit 6. Going to learn some different things. Maybe you learned this in Algebra 2, maybe you didn't. So maybe it's brand new, maybe it's a review. So let's get started. Law of sine. Why is this useful? Well, you guys are used to all these 90-degree triangles, so let's tackle this one first. We got a 90-degree angle, we know right away we can use SOH, CA, TOLA. Here's my reference angle. This is opposite. This is adjacent. Which one uses that? Tangent. So tangent of 39 degrees equals opposite over adjacent. I'm not going to finish this for you because we've done these. Look that up, multiply both sides by 8.2, and you're home free. So, why did I show you that? The law of sine is our go-to formula, equation for non-90-degree triangles, which is kind of the real world. And the example I bring up all the time is like, property. Properties are not all these nice, perfect little 90-degree triangles. Properties are not always these perfect little rectangles. So we've got some things out there that we would need to calculate the area of. So we'd need different ways of figuring out all the angles, all the sides, and then there's an area formula coming. So that's really the end goal. You're going to learn the law of sine, law of cosine, and then an area formula, how to find area of these pretty wonky triangles. You guys are used to the old 1/2 base times height, and yeah, that works as long as you have a 90-degree angle, but not all triangles do. So this is one of the wonders of trigonometry is these next couple days of the formulas you're going to be learning. So here's formula number 1, law of sine. Notice I have a fraction equaling a fraction equaling a fraction. So I know it's overwhelming at first, but it's a really simple formula. Couple things. If I said, hey, does 2/3 equal 4/6? You'd say, yeah. Some of you would reduce this and say, hey, I just reduced it. Some of you would multiply the top and bottom by 2, but I'm going to show you something maybe you've missed out on. Fun little truth. If fractions are equal, so are their cross products. So 3 times 4 equals 2 times 6. And we're going to use this rule today to finalize our solutions for the law of sine. Here's some rules. You need 2 of the 3 fractions. See, we have 1, 2, 3 fractions. You only need to pick 2 of them. And then after you pick 2 of them, so let's say we pick these 2 right here. Notice we got a numerator, denominator, that's 4 parts, but you only need 3 of the 4 parts. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Then you see all these letters, A, B, C. Well, they aren't labeled, so I'm just going to put my big A here. By the way, big letters represent angles. And I'm going to put my big B here, my big C here. Now, if this is angle A, this must be little side A. If this is big B, this has to be little b. If this is big C, that has to be little c. If you don't know that rule, this stuff's going to be chaos. So, what do we have? Well, we have angle B and we have angle C. So we're going to use these 2. So we're going to try to fill in everything we have. So we're going to go sine of angle B all over side B, which we don't know. And then we're like, okay, we're going to try to go sine of angle C, 74, all over side C. We're like, wait a minute. We don't have enough information. We can't do this problem because we need 3 of the 4 parts. Well, we got to look at this a little bit better and say, wait a minute, we know side A, sure would be nice to know angle A. Well, this takes you back to your basic geometry days. 74 plus 39 is 113. So what's left up here? Well, that would be 67 degrees. So we're like, okay, we're not going to use C. We're going to use A. So now we're going to go sine of 67 degrees all over 17. And now look at, we picked 2 of the 3 fractions. We got 3 of the 4 parts. And now we're ready to rock and roll, as long as we have a calculator. So get your calculator out. We're going to take a look at sine of 37 degrees. Make sure your calculator's in degree mode. 0.629. A lot of students freak out like, how much rounding? Don't do too much rounding. But, times 17, 10.69. So I get 10.69 by multiplying this way. That's what we were talking about up here. Equals, and now look what we have here. Sine of 67 times b is 0.920. So 0.92b. So we're going to divide by 0.92, divide by 0.92. So 10.69 divided by 0.92, enter. 11.6. Now, one thing I forgot to mention. We just found side B is 11.6. What does this mean? Solve the triangle. Well, we had to figure out what that was. That's part of solving. We had to figure out what this was. That's part of solving. Essentially, it means find all the angles and all the sides. So our job is not done yet. We still need to find side C. And I always ask my students, well, can I go like a squared plus b squared equals c squared? No, that only works for 90-degree triangles. So what do we got to do? Well, we have to use this. So we're going to go sine of angle C all over side C. We could use angle B and side B. We could use angle A and side A. Doesn't matter. Let's go with this one. So sine of 67 all over 17. So here we go. Sine of 74.961. We go 0.96. Sine of 67.92. We just used that one. I should have remembered it. Multiply that way. 0.92c equals. Now I got to multiply that by that. 0.96 times 17. 16.32. So we're going to divide by 0.92, divide by 0.92, and we get 17.7. So this is 17.7. Now, before we go on to the next problem, we should stop and see if this fits in our common sense compartment. Biggest angle, biggest side. Next biggest angle, next biggest side. Smallest angle, smallest side. So that's a pretty good feel-good moment, and I would check that before you move on, because that needs to be true. Basic geometry rules. So why do I have a second problem up here? Well, because you might be thinking, that sounds pretty easy. I think I got this. I think you do, but this is a little different. So here we go. Notice I don't have any letters, so I'm going to put one there, and there's my side A. I'll call this B, so this is little b, so that's C, and it's little c. Notice I only have one angle. There's no way I can figure these out. There's just these two. There's just no way. So I got to get started using the law of sine. I see that I have those two parts. So I'm going to go sine of angle A all over side A. The only side I have is B. So we're going to figure out what this is. So I'm going to go sine of angle B all over side B. Get out our little calculator here. Sine of 61.874 times 8. 0.699. At that time, I'm just going to go, or 6.99. I'm just going to round that to 7. Call me crazy. And then I get 13 sine B, divide by 13, gone, divide by 13. So I get 7/13 equals sine of B. Whoa, wait a minute. This takes us back to a lesson, inverse functions, because now we have to take our calculator and type this in, 7/13, and that will give us angle B. So that's the benefit. You find the sine button, look immediately above it, you've got the inverse function. So I need to go second sine, then 7 divided by 13, enter. 32.57. I'm going to call it 32.6. So I know that angle B is 32.6. Now I'm going to add this together and then subtract from 180 to get that. Basic geometry. So plus 61 and then 86.4. So that guy right there is 86.4. I know it's getting messy, but the only thing I don't know right now is side C. So we're going to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I know angle C, I don't know this. So I got to go sine of 86.4 all over side C. And now I can use A and A or B and B. I'll just stick with A. Sine of 61, I wish I remembered what that was. Was it 0.874? Let's see if I'm right. Over 13. All right. Clear it out. So sine of 86.4, 0.998 times 13. Let's get that out of the way right now. 12.97. Let's call it 13. And let's figure out sine of 61. Big moment. 0.874. Very proud of myself. Multiply that way. 0.874C. Divide by 0.874. 0.874. 13 divided by 0.874. 14.87. That's an 8. So this right here, 14.87. Let's do our little check. Biggest angle, biggest side. Second place, second place. Smallest, smallest. So we're like, seems like a winner. All right, so there's the law of sine. I think that's it for the lesson, but let me check. The only thing I didn't mention was on your homework, number 7 asks you to find the area. Don't worry about that particular part of number 7. Go ahead and do the rest. So good luck on that.